I'm Joe Halco, your host, and welcome to another episode of NCSS Here for You. Since 1958, Northwestern Counseling and Support Services has been providing access to high-quality services which promote healthy living and emotional well-being to the residents of Franklin and Grand Isle counties. Over the years, as the needs of the community have changed, so too have the programs and services that we make available to assist children, adolescents, adults, families, and seniors. We take our role in the community seriously and strive to provide a continuum of the highest quality services to meet the needs of individuals who at any point seek assistance. 2025 marks a milestone for NCSS Here for You, as it's the 20th year that we've produced shows that air monthly highlighting the numerous services provided by NCSS. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's a month where typically the media focuses on the importance of mental health and how it's just as important as physical health in achieving well-being. This month, NCSS will announce the opening of a new access center in response to the specific needs of our community. Through surveys and community meetings, NCSS received feedback that our community needs an increased number of outpatient therapy appointments, along with a decreased wait time to see an outpatient therapist. The program will increase access to services and help to prevent hospitalizations. To discuss the NCSS Access Center and this additional outpatient therapy model, I'm pleased to introduce this month's guests. They're Megan Malbuff, who is the Program Manager of Outpatient Access and Integrated Health, and Katie Mabel, Team Leader of the NCSS Access Center. I'd like to welcome both of you to the program this month. It's great to have you here.
Thanks, Joe.
And so exciting to talk about this new initiative at NCSS to help the community. So let's begin with the origin of introducing this additional NCSS Access location to mental health outpatient therapy for the community, and also what is the focus of this rapid access program?
Well, as you mentioned, Joe, our Access Center was developed based on the needs of the community.
Yeah.
And some of the other DAs recently have worked toward developing urgent care centers, which are, they're all a little bit different, but again, based on filling those needs and prevention needs in the community. Yeah. But when we looked at our own community needs assessment and our customer satisfaction surveys, what we really identified as a need in our community were more outpatient therapy services and a reduced wait time for those services.
Yeah.
So that is where we developed the Access Center model, and where we're really looking to provide more of that service that's wanted in this community.
Mm-hmm. And for the viewer, you had mentioned DA, which is really for designated agency.
Yes.
Again, because they wouldn't be aware of what that is. And NCSS being one of 10 throughout the state of Vermont. And I think, again, for the viewer, that they realize that agencies like NCSS cover the entire state of Vermont. So there is help no matter which corner of the state somebody happens to live in.
Right. And so when I'm talking about identifying the needs of our community, I'm really talking about Franklin County and Grand Isle County. And those are the counties that we are called on to serve and who we are always surveying and asking how we can help them more. And so with the Access Center, like you said, by reaching people with reduced wait times and with more kind of low-level preventative services like outpatient therapy, we're really hoping to keep people in our community to help prevent hospitalization or prevent people from needing to be removed from the community.
Yeah, which are very important when somebody's struggling.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about the importance of reducing the time that it takes for someone to get an appointment, because that's very, very important in how someone is dealing with their struggles.
Absolutely. I think we know through a lot of research in counseling techniques and in mental health that if we can get to the person right away, provide that assistance and that care and those services, make a treatment plan, that we're really able to make more of an impact and more of a difference. And so that's another mission and goal at the heart of this Access Center, is to really be available to the community when they need us the most.
Yeah, and I think that's critically important. So, where is the Rapid Access Mental Health Therapy Program located?
We are located at 12 Houghton Street. That's right off Lake Street in St. Albans. And I think that the location of the center is also part of our access mission because it's walkable. There are sidewalks to walk there. It's very close to other social services that are offered in St. Albans. So, if someone were to need multiple services in a day, it's very likely that they could walk to them versus needing transportation. And so we do know in Franklin and Grand Isle County, our transportation can be a big barrier to people. We're quite a spread out rural set of counties.
Yeah, absolutely. So when is the NCSS Access Center open, and what are the hours of operation? And also, if you could talk about what I think is very exciting element of it, the daily walk-in appointment that's available on a first-come, first-served basis.
Yeah, that's kind of our exciting new offering. So we are open 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, almost like regular doctor's office hours. And there's two new features of the Access Center, but the one exciting new feature is that every day at 9 a.m. there will be a walk-in same-day access appointment. So these are our regular therapy intake appointments. They're 90-minute appointments, and we'll have one a day set for a walk-in. We've really never had that before at NCSS, so this is something new that we're piloting that we really hope helps reach people who, like Katie was just referencing, are just really ready and willing right now, and maybe that not the same as that planful person who really kind of wants to pause and schedule an appointment with a certain type of provider down the road, really kind of just wants to be seen this week. So we will be offering those at 9 and suggest that people come at 8:30 because they are first come, first serve, and there's, some paperwork and things to fill out, so people should expect that. But we have reception there, who's there to help, and that will be kind of our exciting new same-day walk-in appointment.
Sure. Now, let's take the situation, if it occurs, where more than one person shows up for that 9 a.m. How does that then get handled?
Yeah, so we could complete the first part of their initial screening. So we have our access coordinators on site, and they could ask them some questions and get them set up. Most likely what would happen is, they would have the option, of course, to try to come back the next day.
Sure.
But the other option they could do would be our other service that we're offering there, which is our rapid access clinicians. And so our rapid access clinicians will have scheduled appointments, but those appointments will be for short-term 12-week therapy. And so, yes, I would say someone could do either of those options. They could either fill out the beginnings of the paperwork and begin their screening and come back the next day, or they could meet again with our access coordinator quickly and schedule probably a rapid access appointment would be their closest available appointment, which would also be within days, hopefully.
Well, and again, the exciting thing about this is that the person is being seen soon.
Yes.
One way or the other, whether it's immediately or whether it's, say, within the next day or so.
Exactly.
Which is great from that.
And we want to be clear that people still can call our access coordinators. It's the same phone line. It's the same people you're talking to, and they understand these changes, and they can always help explain, our traditional outpatient therapy services versus rapid access versus same-day walk-ins.
And actually, that was going to be my next question about how does someone schedule an appointment? You've touched on, how, in essence that works. But once again, for somebody that is interested in scheduling an appointment, how do they go about that?
Yeah, so folks can call our main line and ask to speak with a screener for either adult or children's services. And we have two positions, Emily and Bridget, who they're our access coordinators, and their role is to answer those phones and screen people and get them scheduled for appointments. So,
and Speaking of the staff that you have down there, how many staff work in the program, and what can people expect when they arrive at the NCSS Access Center?
Really? So we've got, I think I referenced before, we've got 2 folks who are the initial point of contact and answer the phones and do the scheduling. Right now we have 2 intake clinicians who it's their role to serve children, families, and adults. So they do actually whole lifespan services, and they provide intake assessment and then support with referrals to agency programming. We're a large agency. There's lots of opportunities and programs. So their role is to really help folks figure out where am I going to fit best, what's going to meet my needs. So we have 2 positions dedicated to that. And then we have a rapid access clinician who's really passionate about short-term work, and she'll be the person that folks who are interested in that 12-session model of therapy will meet with her. And then we're going to have another part-time rapid access clinician as well who will be providing those same services. Yeah.
You mentioned lifespan. I just want to say something, because it is Mental Health Awareness Month, is that NCSS does provide services across the entire lifespan. So if somebody has never struggled, but now they're 50 or 80, we have services for them. They might be 15 and they need services. But I guess my point is that when you look at what is being offered, is we really offer those services across the entire lifespan.
Absolutely. And you can call our line and be connected with services across the lifespan. For these services at the Access Center, they're available to ages 6 through any age. So we're serving children and adults,
Sure.
I guess is. So we do have Parent-Child Center and early childhood that serves the 0 to 5 population. But that is a little bit unique about the Access Center. Some similar programs are only for adults, and we wanted to be able to reach out to children and adults.
Yeah, and I think that's important that people do understand that breadth of ages that you're
absolutely.
Being able to service. Speaking about short-term mental health therapy, could you talk a little bit more about what the value of a short-term mental health therapy model is?
Absolutely.
To someone?
I think a lot of folks, when they start on a therapy or counseling journey, kind of come into it with this belief, and I think it's a belief that's just sort of out there in our broader culture, that sometimes therapy means I'm going to be meeting with someone for a very long time, maybe even a majority of my life, right? And sometimes movies, TV, and stories really sort of spread this notion of this is what counseling services look like, right? And what we know through a lot of research and study is that actually sometimes what is most helpful is coming in and working with a therapist on sort of chapters. And so I had a mentor once help me change my thinking in that think of the counseling journey as like chapters in a book rather than this like lifelong commitment that someone has to make, right? So we now know that there are actually a lot of effective forms of treatment that we can help assist people with that can really make a difference in someone's life in that sort of 12 session format. So if you're someone that's recently struggled with a big life change in your life, maybe your family is separating or you've had a loss, or you're someone that has had a job change that you're struggling with, or you're someone that is struggling with anxiety, you need coping skills, right? These are all different, examples of things where we have some really nice models of care that we can offer to make an impact in that timeline, and you don't necessarily have to make a commitment to being in care for years of your life. So I think that's important for people to understand that there's a lot of opportunity to get really good care in a short amount of time.
I think it also highlights the fact that it's not like cookie cutter therapy where one size fits all type of thing. People do understand that each and every individual has their own plan of care. And to your point, Katie, sometimes it could be quickly accomplished. Other times it takes a little longer.
Yeah. And another reason we really want to be able to offer some short-term therapy that does not have a wait list is for those higher and clients who may be struggling even more, maybe somebody who is either coming out of hospitalization or maybe has been working with our emergency services team and decided that they'd like some ongoing treatment. And we really want to be able to offer those people an outpatient therapy service as quickly as possible because as you explained about the designated agencies earlier, we're always working to find ways to keep people in our community, to keep them safe and healthy and be able to stay in our community. And so we're hoping that it's a preventative measure across the spectrum of, like Katie said, all the way from anxiety to those higher mental health needs.
Sure, sure. Now, we've talked a lot about what the Access Center is. I'd now like to talk about one thing that the Access Center, I believe, is not. And that is that the Access Center program is not designed to assist someone that's in immediate crisis. If someone is in immediate crisis, who do they call? How do they go about that with NCSS?
Right. We would recommend that someone who's in immediate crisis reach out to our crisis services programs. And also now in Vermont, we have 988, which is wonderful, and the agency is involved in that. And so a lot of times we recommend that you reach out to that resource first for that in the moment of screening and support as well. And a recommendation out of that interaction may be to come down and see us, and we might see you. But just making sure that that safety and that stabilization piece happens first, and then we're happy our doors are open.
And I think that's important to know as a differential that, the person that is really in a crisis situation isn't thinking about utilizing the Access Center first and foremost. So,
right.
And that NCSS has so many access points when it comes to emergency services and crisis and all those
and it's good to point out that the Access Center is an additional service. We aren't replacing any past service. So NCSS continues to have emergency services, continues to have our traditional outpatient team. This is an additional service. So, right, not a replacement service.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when you talk about access, because I know for ad infinitum, access has always been a very difficult discussion about getting mental health services and how many points of access are there and that type of thing. This is a terrific way to, as you say, Megan, to provide another point of access for people to get the care that they need when they need it.
Yeah, and I had brought some numbers because it's interesting. Last year, we served 991 people in outpatient therapy. 322 of them were children and 669 adults. So we're really trying to reach a high number of people. And so with that said, with all of that done, and that was 2024 numbers, and we're really trying to increase that. And knowing that we're hearing from schools and pediatricians and community members and the emergency department that there is more need than that, even than the almost 1,000 people we reached in 2024 with outpatient therapy.
Yeah, certainly one of the things that's also very well known is the fact that stigma has stood in the way of a lot of people who for years have wanted to get treatment but feel that they're the only ones who are struggling with whatever it is they have, depression, anxiety, what have you. We know that's not so. It's much more pervasive than people may think. And that they, like with anything, a cold or diabetes or what have you, you need to get care when you're struggling with a condition.
Yeah, and outpatient therapy can sometimes be seen as a specialized treatment, and we really don't. Again, with the wait time, I think with specialized treatment, sometimes there's this wait time, and that alone can create a gap that contributes to the stigma, to the negative feeling around it, and that alone can lead to a no-show or a cancellation, and we're trying to be really aware of that. And anything we can do to reduce stigma, we're always trying to do. And I think things like this show are a great help because the more we talk about it, the more we talk about how it's perfectly normal to need help and to need services and to want help as quickly as possible, that there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, There was a soft opening of the Access Center during during December of 2024. And my understanding is that you've scheduled a grand opening for May 28th. And can you share more details about that day?
Yeah, we opened in December 5th. We opened quietly on purpose to sort of get the kinks out. We started our same-day walk-ins twice a week only to get the feel for how that would go and how much of a need there was in the community. And we've discovered that the need is there, and so that's why we're expanding that. And so again, we've had these 5 months to kind of build up our staff, to have our reception workflow and have everything kind of smooth and running for people. And so we're really hoping now when we open our doors for the grand opening that it will be just really ready for the community and positive experience for everyone. So the grand opening is scheduled for May 28th at 3 p.m. We're going to have kind of a nice ribbon cutting grand opening and hoping to be up and staffed and ready to go after that.
Oh, that sounds great. And I think the fact that you did do the soft opening to kind of work out kinks in that certainly helps once you really go 100% so that you can try to eliminate some of those stumbling blocks.
Yeah, I think it'll help both ways. We have our staff is feeling really good and confident now, and they know each other, and they have, like I said, they have established a great workflow, and also for the community to really be welcomed in once we're ready is also really nice.
Well, once again, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's my favorite month, well, one of my favorite months of the year, because I do believe that they call it in the media about you heavy up on programming and subject matter, and the media will talk a lot more about mental health this month than they do in the other 11 months of the year. And it's unfortunate that we can't get that kind of coverage 12 months a year. However, I think that a lot of the work that NCSS has done, and like with opening new programs like this and new locations, are all things that chip away at that stigma of mental health, and the fact that, hey, it's very normal to talk, it should be very normal to talk about and to seek help. That if somebody is struggling, it doesn't mean they're the only one. And I think the more and more we can normalize discussing mental health, the various conditions, the fact that help is there, resources are available in the community, all the better.
Yeah.
And, like you said, Megan, the wealth of programming that NCSS offers, it's almost, to someone who's not familiar with NCSS, would seem overwhelming because there is so much programming. But it's all for the right reasons, and it's all to help people with their individual situation, no matter what their age is.
And I mean, to be clear, we don't expect the community to understand all of our programs, and that's why we say, call us, and we will help you find the program that's right for you. If you're unsure, just give us a call, and we will help you. We will help match you, whether it's, the age group or the specific need. We have 3 divisions, and we're in schools, and we will help people get the help they need. And I can say, being part of a lot of community meetings lately, I think that our Franklin Grand Isle community is in a really good place, working toward mental health and reducing stigma. I've had a lot of positive experiences in the community lately. Like I said, we've had meetings with pediatricians. We have ongoing community meetings all the time with other community partners, but there's a real collaborative spirit in our community right now. I'm finding the same thing with schools, allowing us in for trainings. We've been doing some You Matter suicide prevention trainings, among other trainings, and I do feel like this is a really positive time in this community, where we're working together a lot across community platforms.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, I think this community versus a lot of other parts of Vermont, the collaboration and partnering of organizations being willing to, well, if you look at just schools alone and you look at the number of schools that NCSS is embedded in, which again, people would not really be aware of, but we do have clinicians and other individuals in the schools throughout the school year. And to your point, whether it's law enforcement, where we're also embedded, you look at a lot of other scenarios, it's been great partnerships, again, for all the right reasons, that NCSS brings the mental health hat to the table and hopefully is there to help people in their time of need.
I could just piggyback off of something that Megan mentioned around, if you're unsure if short-term therapy is for you or you're unsure what service is for you, still call us. And I think a frequent question I do get from folks who've already used the Access Center is, what if I start short-term care and I uncover like a longer-term need, or what if I decide it's not for me, or, absolutely. Like you add one of our key roles, just to emphasize what she said, is to help you find the thing that's right for you, right? So if you start care and you decide with your clinician that longer term services is where you need to be, we will help you get there. And that's what part of what we do is help folks navigate and find the treatment that's going to be the best.
It's almost like there's no wrong door.
Exactly.
And to your point, Katie, it's that depending on circumstances, somebody may continue down the path they came in on or modify it and change it depending on circumstances. And that's fine.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, and just as I describe a short-term therapy as 12 weeks, it could also be 3 weeks. It could be 2 sessions. You're not held to stay for 12 weeks if you come in and say, wow, I guess I really just needed to talk through twice and I'm fine, and we have that happen too. So we don't, I love what Katie's saying, because we don't expect people to come in knowing exactly what service or what timeline they need, and we're happy to work with people.
Yeah, and I think that's important for people to know, that it can be anything. Yeah. So it's just the fact of, please, if you need treatment, seek it. This is another access point, which is a terrific one on Houghton Street.
Yes.
And, the services are available.
Yep.
So, any final thought on Mental Health Awareness Month?
I'm just excited to be open to the community and look forward to people coming in and visiting us. So we're here for you.
Yes. I would say we're very open to feedback. Like I said, this program was developed in response to community feedback. So we would love for people to continue kind of reaching out and telling us what you need and what's going well and maybe what's missing, because we are trying to provide the services that match the need for our community. And that's really what we hope to do here with the Access Center.
Yeah. And for anybody who would want to call, what number do they call?
Go ahead. Is that 524-6555?
That's it. 802 first, right? Remember that? So the new NCSS Access Center that will have a grand opening on May 28th at 3 p.m. And, I want to thank both of you for being on the show this month and expressing the great value that this new program is going to offer. Like you said, Megan, it's not replacing anything. It's really an add-on, which is terrific. So again, I want to thank both of you for being on the show today. So with that being said, I want to thank my guests, Megan Malbuff and Katie Mabel, for sharing their insights on the NCSS Access Center and how it will benefit our community by reducing wait times for mental health outpatient therapy appointments. I also want to thank you, the viewer, for spending time with us again this month. You can learn more about all of our programs and services by logging on to ncssinc.org. I'm Joe Halco, and I'll be back next month with another episode of NCSS Here for You.